So, Syndicates. They are a added little mechanic to the game that can let you get some new equipment to them. We're gonna start with New Loka here. So, by the way, New Loka and Parent Sequence I have negative rep with. But New Loka here, they are the ones you get the quest for Titania from. Yes, shut up. And you can get Ancient Healers. Yes, they will send Ancient Healers after you if you're in the negative. You can get parts for Arc Wing weapons. Augments for normal weapons. This one for the Panthera, the Furus Pistol, Volcar, and Skana. And then augments for Warframes here. This one is for Baruch, Gara, Hydroid, so on and so forth. And then at the bottom here, you can get Captura scenes, emotes related to the faction, Exilus weapon adapter, a armor set, a special little like customization for your personal quarters, and then weapons. The Sancti Tigris shotgun, the Sancti Castanas throwing star things or whatever, and the Sancti Magistar. Now, both of these two weapons, primary and secondary, always cause a effect based off of the faction. Being like when the icon for the faction fills up above the weapons like ammo, it'll cause a AoE of a certain element type. I forgot what the one for this faction was. The Sancti Magistar, having it gives you status effect resistance while in hand, and heavy attacks make a healing pulse to heal you and allies. The next faction is the Parent Sequence. They are needed for three things, basically. One, the faction itself. Two, for the quest for Nidus. And three, for these. The Tenant melee weapons. Now, Tenant, well, also the Tenant Furox here. But, the weapons in here, they will always have a progenitor element type applied to them, already. I would suggest waiting until you find the right one for you to use. And they cost 40 corrupted hollow keys, which are from Arcwing sister missions, meaning Sisters of Parvos. The other part for this faction, same stuff here, arc gun parts, augments for the Acrid, Grintlock, Lenka, and the Spectra, and augments for Warframes, and then their weapons, the Secura Dual Kestra, Secura Penta, and the Secura Lecta. The Secura Lecta's benefit is whenever you get a kill, double credit drops. Not very beneficial, but hey, it could be used for mastery fodder, so get some credits on the way. For Red Veil, they were the ones for that Chains of Harrow quest, but they are not the ones who you get it from. Now this faction, you could call this faction the Edgelords. They got all this stuff. Oh yeah, Parent Sequence had MOAs to spawn, while this one has infested chargers. And, of course, all the normal stuff. The Rachna weapons which I believe the pulse from this one is radiation damage. And then the Rachna Dark Dagger. Hits on a irradiated target, restore shield, and can grant you overshield. Oh yeah, and you also have less detection while it's on you. So, basically, you can get stealth kills easier with it. Steel Meridian. This faction is a Grineer faction, and they send rollers after you. These guys are annoying, because they will just roll into you, hitting you with a little stagger every time, and because they're Eximus, they have their normal Eximus effects. I hate it. Shattering Justice. This can only be used on the normal Heck. Cannot be used on this faction's weapon or on the Kuva version. So don't fully bother with that. Dual Cleavers, the Sobek, and the Miter. Now this can be used with the Miter and Karnan, so you could run with that if you want. Then you got all these augments. The Vacor Mirelok, the Vacor Heck, which has more shots in the mag, and the Vacor Sidon. The effect of this is if you block 15 attacks with this weapon, then if you do block heavy attack, you'll basically cast Radial Blind like a Excalibur would. But it's currently bugged right now as far as I know. The next faction that we have available... Oh, yeah, and on occasion Clem shows up here. For other factions, this is the one you get for Octavia's quest, and that is Cephalon Suda. She sends shield ospreys at you, which can be quite annoying because they're shield restore when they're surrounded by other enemies. And their weapons are the Cyanoid Gamma Core, the Cyanoid Simulor, and the Cyanoid Heliocore. The benefit of this one, just like the normal Heliocore, is kills with the heavy attack can scan enemies into your codex, but the added effect of this one, any fatal strike with this weapon also perform, or yeah, no, any kill scans for the codex, but if you perform a heavy attack on someone who's already been fully scanned, it spawns a Spectre for you. And then final faction here is the Arbiters of Hexus. They are related to the arbitration activity. First is they send corrupted lancers after you. Really tanky. I hate fighting those ones. Burson Prime, the Jaw Sword, the Viper, and the Silva Aegis for augments. And then for weapons, the Telos Akbolto, Telos Boltor, and the Telos Boltes. The effect of this one is if you spin, you lift enemies into the air, I think it was. The Stormpath, a Tempest of Mayhem that hurls any foe in its way. Yeah, it's mainly just sliding. But for the arbitration thing, when you go to do the activity, these drone things will spawn. And I think I mentioned this before, but you can't revive in that activity. But when you destroy these things, they'll damage any enemies they're latched onto, killing small ones, basically. And this is where you get mods such as Sharpshooter for your sniper, Power Donation, which is really good if you're going into negative strength, because you can just give that strength to an ally. Preparation, really good for Sevagoth's Shadow, because when you enter Shadow form, it counts as a respawn, basically, and will completely refill its energy. rolling guard. Every YouTuber I know who like does Warframe builds for Steel Path and all that says to grab this. Vigorous swap, mending shot, energizing shot, bleeding body ephemera, and blazing step ephemera. This is where you can get arc gun riven mods, really helpful for like getting some good like builds to break the game. And then galvanized mods. These have different effects, and they're shared between weapon types. So galvanized savvy for shotgun, status chance on kill, increased direct damage per status effect on the target. It's basically conditioned overload for a shotgun. Galvanized acceleration, projectile speed, beam length on kill, increase it further for 10 seconds, stacks up to 2 times. And then galvanized hell. More multi-shot on kill, even more multi-shot, stacks up to 4 times. This is what you need for the Kuva Heck. And then, of course, rifle and pistol mods. And then, other than those factions, the other things located here are downstairs. These are tied to their own thing. So first, we have Darvo. He's just a shop that gives a discount. There is an inventory limit, but if you're extremely lucky, you could probably get a Warframe in here. But that's a chance. Then we have Conclave. Now, after the events of the story, yeah, Teshin, he did. He is the one you talk to for getting stuff in here from Conclave, being mods that you can use, buying a relic pack, and even getting some exclusive augments that can only be used there, though some can be used out in the normal like gameplay, such as Rumbled here. Atlas becomes a Rumbler himself with rock armor and grants Overguard and absorbs up to 300% of his max health. So basically, he becomes the Rumbler. Then there are skins for weapons, being Conclave-based. Oh, that's a cool one for the Dragon Arcana. And you can also get Exilus Warframe adapters, a maxed out Mag Excalibur or Volt, and some Captura scenes. On top of that, once you unlock it through completing every node on the star chart, you get Steel Path. In Steel Path, you can get these little cubes called Honors, and they are used for Dax customizations, basically. A rotating Riven, a Veiled Riven Cipher, so I guess it just, like, instantly gives you what the Riven is, or something, I don't know. Stance Forma, basically an Aura Forma for your melee weapons. These special little glyphs and all that, and Counterbalance. As well as primary arcane adapters and secondary arcane adapters. These will allow you to put an arcane onto your primary or secondary. And then the final faction located in a relay is, of course, Samaris. Shut up. Now, with Samaris, you can perform scans for him, like he said you can do, and doing so will give you rep.
This is how I can help you.
And you can get these things. I highly recommend getting this one as soon as you're able to get this one. He does not require rank up like the others, and you can just build it up to maximum if you chose. He also has augments for your sentinels, energy conversion, and health conversion, and astral autopsy. Really good if you're like wanting to complete the whole thing. Then there's also transmute cores, which just help with like converting mods into a specific type. He can give you the blueprints for the Heliocore and Simulacore, a Helio skin, some capture scenes, companion weapon ribbons, and whenever you complete story missions, you can unlock the blueprints for like weapons and warframes here. Well, and also parts that you can't farm. This is a gaming device you can put on your ship. It comes with frame fighters, but you can also unlock Happy Zephyr and Wormius. These two can be played if you have the required thing, but otherwise you can only play them if you have them unlocked through this. And then, of course, as you can see, you can get like Inaros, Titania, Harrow, Ureli, all their stuff again. The Ornata, the Imperator, and Veritux Melee. The Umbral mods, basically letting you buy multiple, which I don't see a point in that. The Shadow blueprint, I thought Paracesis was supposed to be in here. Oh well. The Nadaru, Crumblejack, and Siriko, don't really see a point in getting rid of them. The Sun and Moon blueprint, which you get for completing Deviri, and any of the weapon blueprints that you would unlock through spending the Pathos clamps to use them in Deviri. And also any daily login ones being like the Zenith, Sigma and Ontantis, and Azima. And this one is through Nightwave. The Victoria, I think? I don't know. This one, as it says there, if you swing while aim gliding, it'll fire a projectile that can glass enemies, just like Gara, and a ground slam will shatter the glass on those enemies. A heavy slam sends forth a wider shockwave with like more damage, I guess. And then, of course, just a normal machete for this one. And this will also have the parts for the War Greatsword as well.
I will share what I know, but you must.
So yeah, Samaris is all that stuff. You can also go here to go to a shooting range where you can test out your weapons. Finally, last thing about Samaris, this whole hallway here is where you go for mastery challenges. Maximum right now is Legendary 2. Or, no, Legendary 3. I have only completed this one, and I am almost ready to do Mastery Rank 9, or 29. Once I get that done and reach 30, then at any point, whenever I, like, feel like it, I can go to a relay and go... Right, I need to go upstairs. I can go over to a device located over here. This device requires Mastery Rank 30, and it can give you buffs. I had a guy pop one earlier, giving me a Resource Drop Chance Blessing. This buff, when you activate it, applies to everyone in the relay. So if you're in a, like, very crowded relay, you could give that to them and, like, people can say thank you in the chat or by pressing triangle when it pops up on their screen. So yeah, that is everything for relay factions, basically. So now, let's see, if I head back to my ship. Okay. So, I guess I could talk a bit about the index activity for next video. This one will be a simple one. I'm just gonna go in for like one run, just to like show off how it works, basically. I wish I could have done it during the Glass Gambit mission, because that's where this is located. But yeah, I will talk about that next, and then I guess I'll show off bosses next. So yeah, I'll be seeing you then.